Hello, and welcome back to Factorio. This is episode 9 of the Factorio 0.17 tutorial walkthrough Let's Play. In our last episode, we began the process of building our bus. We set up the initial items going onto the bus, including iron plates, copper plates, iron gears, and green circuits. Between episodes, I did a little bit of cleanup. I refilled some turrets and reinforced a few. Built some of these little pillboxes around a couple. Put down a few turrets over this way because we may start getting attacks from these bases down here. I also filled out the green circuit array, completing the second part of it, and cleaned up the gear array a little bit. We mostly built this in the last episode. I've added the provisions for two more belts of plates to come in later on, and put down the blueprints for most of the rest of the array. This is a blueprint that I will put into the blueprint folder for this series, so you'll be able to get it. This is designed to put out exactly 2 belts of iron gears from 4 belts of iron plates. But the basic design is exactly the one we've discussed. These machines make the gears, and this mixing set of splitters mixes them together to get 2 compressed lanes. Let's take a look at our research. We finished fluid wagons. We're going to start on plastic. Again, nowhere near ready for plastic yet, but we might as well be researching it. So, let's get started on the next phase. We have begun our main base, and we've created the 2 initial ingredients into it. So now we're going to start using our bus. We're going to go and pick up some more supplies from our starter base, and this is the main purpose of our starter base, is to provide us with the ingredients necessary. I'm breaking things. Yeah. Let's fix them and pick up the car and just kind of run through here. The main purpose of this starter base is to get our science started and to make the things that we're going to need. So we're going to pick up a little bit of everything. Most importantly, we are going to want a bunch of these guys. And let's pick up ammo because we will need to top things off. That's pretty good. All right. The very first thing we're going to build on this bus is what people call a mall. A mall is a large construction. It's designed to make all of those little things that we need in order to keep progressing. You can think of the mall as a larger version of our starter base. Minus the science. It's not there to make a lot of things. It's there to make a small amount of many different things. It's not going to make a lot of any one thing. So malls can be very, very complicated because they involve a lot of different materials and processes. So we're going to use a pre-made mall. This one here. It's made by... it's a design from Catherine of Sky. We've used several of those before, and we will use this one again. We're going to build this a little bit closer to the bus than the gear array, because we don't have to allow for the 4 lanes that are going into the gear array. And despite what I said before about cliffs, I think we will put it right here. So I'm going to shift left click it to place it, and then we're going to start filling it out. Let's hit T again. Advanced electronics, well, long way from that. Concrete, actually. Concrete is probably a good one to do, because we can actually build concrete. All right, so let's take a look at the small. As you can see, it's a big construction. There's a lot to it, and there are many things we don't know how to make yet. That's why some of these machines don't have a recipe set, because we haven't researched those things. We're going to start over on the right here, and we're going to build this section, which is the belt production. You can see it's going to make yellow belts and belt components, red belt and belt components, and eventually blue ones. And then over here we're going to make assemblers. Now, as we saw before, this marks our inputs, and we use these underground belt entries to bring in the resources. So as you can see, we're going to bring in some iron gear wheels. We're going to bring in some iron and a split belt of copper and steel once we have steel. We should make some more blue inserters because this really calls for blue inserters just about everywhere. However, we're going to use blue machines, not gray ones like the recipes call for it, because we have them and so we might as well. We need power poles. And we're out of power poles. Let's go. I can make 4 more, but then I am out of wood. Do we have any power poles up in our starter base? No. So it looks like it's time to chop some wood. Where's the nearest? Oh! Big biter attack coming in. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We're fine. But that surprised me a little bit, and we have no defenses on this side. Let's put down some... at least some light defenses. Okay, a little bit of a screen, just to keep things going. What's going on over there? Oh, and it looks like our turrets fought off an attack on the other side. Somewhere. Yep, you can see all these dead biters. We're going to need to work on those defenses very, very soon. On better defenses. Probably as soon as we get the start of the small built up. There's some power. Alright, let's bring up some gears. Now, we decided that we're going to have 2 belts of gears, but we're not producing anywhere near 2 belts of gears yet. So what we want to do is draw from this belt first. So I'm going to put a inserter, a splitter here, and I'm going to give it an output priority to the right, so that this right lane is always as filled as possible. Those cliffs are going to interfere. We'll be able to get rid of them eventually, but right now they will be kind of in our way. Let's see what we can do about that. That's not terrible. Okay, so this is going to be 4 lanes of iron plates. And I've put all of it onto this top belt, but really we want it on the bottom belt. I tend to always load my arrays so that they prioritize the right side of a belt, right side of a group of belts. Now that's right side from the point of view of the belt, not from the point of view of us as the viewer. All right, more signs. We can't do any of these things, so let's go back and get advanced electronics. Now, of course, eventually we'll want all three of these. Oh, almost left my car there. So what we're going to do is we are going to fill in from the other belt to get us more capability. All right, we need iron on over here. And we want to, we're not jumping over this set of lanes because they're going to terminate. So we're going to go right down to here. But then we're going to do this with these other lanes. What we're going to do is we're going to jump over. And then we're going to feed them in. And we're going to set each one to have an output priority to the right. And as you can see, that will slide the plates down, and we will do the same thing at the beginning of the bus. And this is how we prioritize the bus. So the right lane is always going to be the most full. In fact, the right lane is going to be completely full, except when we have less than one full lane on the whole bus. And you can see that the bottom lane is getting filled up the most and all of the material is slowly being shifted down. And we pretty much want to do the same thing with copper. Again, we want the bottom lane to, that's the most important one for us right now. All right. Now, gears are over here. So what we want to do is bring gears in right here. Now, normally what we would want to do is jump over like so. But because of the cliff, we can't reach. So we're actually going to make a gap in the bus. This is a temporary gap. It will go away once we can get rid of it. Now again, since we're going to eventually have a second lane coming in, we're going to jump, and then we're going to put a splitter that prioritizes to the right. And then we will jump and put in a splitter that prioritizes to the right. So that the top lane will fill in the bottom lane. Okay. Now this can go into here, and we can start producing things. Oh, that's right, we needed wood. Go chop down some wood. Shift click will get us all the power poles we can make. You'll notice that the chests are already limited because the limitation was in the blueprint. We should make some lamps as well once we're done with our power poles. Now, we're good on these guys, but splitters also need green circuits. So we're going to bring in green circuits over here. Now again, it's a split belt. We want half of it green, half of it red. Doesn't matter which half is which. And again, this is only because of these cliffs. This is what the takeoff should look like. Now, I can just drag and click when I'm going in this direction. Now, of course, this is not the direction I want to be going in. I want to be going the other way. And again, we're going to have some... This is a rock, so we can just break that. But we're going to have some difficulty with cliffs here. As we can see. Oh. Well, that's problematic, because we cannot make this jump. So we're going to cheat a little bit. We're just going to take this up to here. This disorganizes our bus a little bit, but what can we do? Now, because I ran these down, they're all pointing the wrong way, so we need to go through and reverse them all. And that'll get us some green circuits on the bus. Now, later on, we are going to be able to get what's called cliff explosives, which will allow us to blow up the cliffs. It'll be great. And we're going to do the same thing here. And prioritize output to the right, so that whichever belt our material comes from, it's going to feed into this belt eventually. Alright, we can research blue science. We can't make it yet, but we can research it. Oh, and we can research modular armor, but again, we can't actually build it yet. Let's see what we've got here. Oh, we need to make this inserter, and now we've got a production of splitters. So we don't have to run all the way back up top to get them. Great. Next thing we're going to work on is our inserters, because we just had to hand make blue inserters, and I don't want to hand make blue inserters. I want to automate them. Alright, modular armor. Alright, so to make the inserters, we're going to need iron plates right on this line. Yep. And again, we've got our annoyingly interfering plates here, so we are going to, it's coming in on this line. And again, we're going to place, as every time we do a takeoff, we're going to place a set like that to right shift the plates and make sure we're getting as much material as possible. And as you can see, we're already exceeding the capacity of our production, which is not a surprise. Malls tend to take a lot of resources early on as things fill up, and then not take much until you grab stuff from them. Are we out of Blue inserters again, we are. No, nothing to it, but to make a few more, I need some iron chests. And we need more gear wheels. We need more green circuits over here. Oh, and I just realized I screwed up these green circuits. Sigh. Let's go fix it. We don't want a belt full of green circuits. We want half a belt. We've got to leave room for red circuits. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to move this and put it over here, and then jump, and go straight here and straight here. And now it's only putting it on the left side. Of course, we've filled this belt with green circuits, so we need to go and drain it. And we will go over here. Pressing the F button picks up whatever you're standing on, and if you place it just right, you can space it so that you're only picking up half the belt. Well, sometimes it's easier than others. There's something that I'm bumping into that's moving me over, that inserter. So we're just going to sit here for a little bit and drain this belt. Here it comes. Got it. We can do modules next. Sure, why not? Not gonna need those for a while, but that's okay. Okay. So, once again, we only want half a belt. And now we've got to once again reverse all these so that it feeds up. Okay, and we need iron gears here. Can we make the jump? No. So we've got to do this thing. And we're out of undergrounds, but we don't have to run far because we have some right over here. Is that set to limit to 50? Yeah, we're gonna want more than that. We're gonna need a lot of undergrounds. Where were we? We were on this one. No, too far. This is... Let's run this back here. And this needs to be reversed. And there we are. There's our cliff explosives, but we need oil set up before we can do that. But here's something very nice. We have mining productivity. Mining productivity increases the output of all our miners by 10%, which is definitely very nice and definitely something we're going to grab right away. And now we have blue inserters being made. Yay. Okay. So over here we have some utility machines. These three produce iron pipes because, as it turns out, we need a lot of iron pipes. There we go. That'll put all three machines worth of pipes onto this belt. It'll go and do some stuff up top. Alright, let's get red belts made. Now, red belts are exactly twice as fast as blue belts. As yellow belts, rather. And blue assembler, blue inserters. There we go. And we don't really need them yet. What we do need is the red undergrounds, because red undergrounds reach further than yellow undergrounds, which is very handy because of the cliffs problem. And red undergrounds and yellow undergrounds can also be interwoven, which is not something we've done yet, but we will see later on. Alright, this machine is not ready yet, this machine's not ready yet. These are not yet ready. Here's some useful utility stuff up here. So let's run some belts up here. Ah. Look, we've got iron boxes now. We don't have to handcraft them. That's handy. I keep putting gray machines. I want blue machines everywhere. Alright, this... So I accidentally placed this power pole in the wrong spot and erased the machine, but that's okay, because this machine didn't have its recipe yet. Once we have those recipes, we will stamp the blueprint over this again, and it'll come back. Not a big deal. Alright, and we need to bring up the gear. You can probably see at this point why I'm using the Smalls blueprint. It's very intricate, it's very interwoven. You have to really think about, alright, well, which machines need to be near which other machines? Where should they go? I've designed malls before myself. It's not particularly fun, and I'm just as happy to use someone else's design because it's this is filter inserters. We can build those as well. We don't use a lot of them. Need some iron boxes. Okay, we have quite a bit going here. We've got all of our inserters that we can build right now and belts built out, and we've got some radars, repair packs, iron boxes being built. Very handy stuff. Now you can see that we're not really getting enough iron. There's barely a trickle coming in, but that's in part because we are using up a lot of it down here to build belts. I just picked up every belt we had. We're also using a lot of gears, which means the gear array is taking a lot of our iron. We also just don't have much iron production to begin with. So I think next episode we're going to need to expand production, especially iron production. We haven't really touched copper yet. We also need to do a few more things. We need to bring in copper and steel, those items we don't have yet. We need to bring in stone and brick, and again copper and steel. So we definitely want to start making some copper, and making some and expanding iron production a great deal. So with that, I'm going to leave you for the moment. Go ahead and try one of these yourselves, and as always, don't forget to save.